Welcome everybody back to the channel. Sammy Original Guy here, aka Mr. Ken from Advanced Wars by Way, bringing you a brand new video today. Now recently I started a tournament in my Discord. This is the official Classy Boy Tag Team Tag Tournament. Now I managed to get 10 people to sign up for this tournament. So we have 5 teams of 2 that are participating in this, and this is a tag match. Now we have teams and we have tags, so there's gonna be a lot of COs and a lot of stuff happening, folks. It's gonna be a doozy. Now throughout the summertime I'm hoping to cast a whole bunch of these videos just to see who is gonna win and which team is going to be crowned the official Classy Boy Tag Team Tournament champions of the bunch. Now today we have myself and Akiz May as Team Cannon Fodder. Boom! What a good one, folks. And we also have PDog954 and Cryo Goose as the Untitled Goose team. So this will be a good one, folks. Now this is set for AWBW, so there is no first turn advantage, or it is at least countered. So should be a very good one, folks. Now, sit down, get yourself a drink, and we are going to get into this one because we have myself and Akiz May, Team Cannon Fodder, going as a Olaf and an Olaf as our main 2 picks. Now, was that planned? 100%, folks, 100%. You got to get the Olafs on the field. Most important thing, secondary pick was Adder, and secondary pick was Jess for our team. Now, P-Dog and Cryo Goose, they went a little bit of a different route. They decided to go as Kindle for their main pick and Drake. And their side picks are Cole and Jake. So, out of the tier 4 bunch, we have all unique COs. So, this should be a good one. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this one and see how the first round of the official Classy Boy Tag Team Tag Tournament went down. Alrighty, folks, so standard infantry builds for the first ones here. Now, before I do anything, I am going to just switch this. We are going to get Akiz May playing Blue Moon, just because it is a little bit difficult for me to see Jade. So, sorry Akiz, we are changing you up. Now, standard infantry builds from everybody on the first day. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Now we are also going to get unit facing left. Unit facing left. Alright, cool. Very, very good. Now, as we continue on, we can see we're just going for standard capture chains right now. You know, nothing out of the ordinary. Now, it looks like the Cryo Goose is going to be taking the neutral base in the corner. So, does that mean that P-Dog is going to be taking the airport? Most likely, folks. Now, I believe that my plan for our team was basically the same thing. Now I decided to go for the airport. I gave Akiz May the base, and we were gonna just kind of go from there and see what happens. Now we have an early recon build from P-Dog. So early recon, very dangerous, very dangerous. You always gotta watch out for that early recon because harassing can definitely happen. Now I decided to build a tank in order to counter this recon. Now, tag team games are interesting. You know, team games in general are interesting because there's a lot of dynamics that go into it and a lot of extra strategy that you don't really think about. Specifically, because one of your players has to attack first and the other person has to attack second. So you have to sync up your attacks in order to make your moves as optimal as possible. So, as we continue on, we can see the recon is moving out. More standard infantry builds. Now, I believe that I decided to build the tank in order to send it down south in order to counter the recon, so that Akiz May here is able to pump out more infantry and actually develop the properties down here. Now, there is a 30-day limit for this one. There's no capture limit, but there is a 30-day limit when it comes to the game itself. So after 30 days, whoever has the most properties is going to be declared the winner. Now, P-Dog finishing up those caps, moving the recon forward, sitting it on the city here, denying this city. Now, nothing is actually able to capture it yet, but Kindle recon on a city, very powerful unit. You don't want to be messing with that for sure, unless you have a tank, which I do. So we're gonna see what this tank manages to do. Now, we do see double tank build from the Untitled Goose team down here. So it looks like they are planning on going heavy down here in this area, which is a good idea because this is where the Green Earth HQ is. So you don't want your opponent to overrun this area. You definitely want to have some presence right here, right? So I decided to build a recon of my own. So hopefully going to send it up here and maybe harass these properties if they get that far. But mostly just as a defensive measure. That's my plan. Okay. So Akizme. Going up, capping properties, sending the tank towards the middle, which I think is a good idea. So this tank right now has pressure on a lot of properties. Now we can see that we have pressure on these two properties, and all these properties here are covered. So, it's pretty good. I decided to bring my tank all the way down here and sit it on this road. Now I'm sitting on the road for mainly so that this recon can't use the road to get up here, right? So this is, I believe, blocking this area here for now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So despite what this might say, I believe that this is not actually able to cap or interrupt this cap. So I also send my infantry forward, and we're gonna try to put some pressure over here in this corner. And I build a copter. Now I decided to go copter, mostly for unit count, because I'm thinking, like, you know, we gotta get the units on the field, man. Gotta get them on the field. We gotta pressure the numbers. Now P-Dog does a really good move here. So no combat is about to happen, right? So he decides to skip this property and go immediately for this property. Now this is a really good move, and I think that everybody should consider doing this in Advanced Wars. Now, if you don't have immediate fighting that's going on, there's not really a urgency to cap that comm tower, right? So if you have the opportunity to skip the comm tower and go for another property, you should definitely do that. Because by doing that, we actually get this property much quicker than what we would normally get it. Because these guys over here are not in position to cap it, right? This was the only guy that was possible. So I think that is a good idea. 100%. So Cryo Goose coming up on day 6 here. Getting another 3 properties cap, possibly 4. Yeah, 4 properties are on the go here. Now you can see that there's definitely some strategy involved in this. They planned out where the caps were going to be happening so that they both have even income. Now I believe that Team Cannon Fodder, myself included in that, we definitely did the exact same thing. We were trying to plan out properties. We were kind of being like, you know, you grab these properties, I grab these properties. I think that'll be fine, you know? So, as we carry on here, and it only makes sense that Blue Moon right now and Green Earth grab these properties up here. You know, this is going to be Green Earth's corner, this is going to be Blue Moon's corner. Only makes sense, right? Now the problem with that is there's not a lot of reinforcements for this area. We only have 1 base to reinforce this entire corner. The rest of these guys could potentially go up here and threaten this corner. But when we were playing this out, wasn't really planning a whole lot of the early moves, right? So we're gonna see what happens here. So nice tank placement right here denies the captures of 2 properties here. So these guys could possibly go on to the city here, start a capture. Now that could potentially be interrupted by 2 units here, but these guys would be much more happy capping these properties up here, right? So yeah, so it's my turn right now, Mr. Cannon, aka semi-original guy. So I'm trying to kind of figure out like where I should go right now, right? So this is a good cap right here, uninterruptible cap. Well, not totally uninterruptible, but once I get the copter down here, tank placement right here, you know, this tank won't be able to come in and interrupt this without getting major damage done to it, you know? And as for the north here, I could go to cap this property, but this infantry is in position to actually attack from a forest, which is pretty good. Pretty good for Drake. So I don't really want to go for that. So I think what I end up doing is going for these 2 here. So let's go ahead and see if that's what happens. Okay, nope, absolutely not. So maybe what I'm thinking here is instead of going for these 2 properties, I want to contest the property that's gonna be or I want to get the property that's going to be more contested. I think that's probably the thought that was going through my mind. Alright, cool. The P-Dog sends quite a few of his guys into the center, builds a second copter. So P-Dog is playing this Kindle, right? So Kindle's going to have that 140% firepower on all those cities. So it's going to be very, very dangerous. And her having copters is also pretty good, because if a copter does manage to actually go onto a city, I believe it's going to get that firepower bonus. So it's going to make it very, very difficult to actually attack into these cities and recapture them after they've been captured here, if we wanted to do that. So Cryo Goose going for those caps that he managed to get there. So now he's sitting at 14,000 funds, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Let's see if Aki's Maze manages to even up that income here. Alright, so manages to even up the income. So right now, the differences between me and P-Dog. So I managed to cap 3 properties right now, so that actually puts me a little bit ahead. But you can see here the P-Dog is going to be able to cap a property down here. So that's going to leave us pretty much even for income. Now we're going heavy into the center right now, by the looks of it here. And so is this team. So there's quite a lot of potential for a lot of fighting to be happening in the center, and possibly even down here. There's very light reinforcements over here. So we are going to have to get something over here in order to not be overrun by this tank. Because a lone tank with no counter is very, very dangerous. Alright, so I push forward and I take out an infantry. Because I see the attack, right? So I'm thinking like, okay, whatever. Might as well go for it. We could take out an infantry. We can secure a cap right here. Because this tank is going to be able to go up and attack one of these guys. You know, we're going to get this cap. Mostly at this point, I'm just thinking about caps. You know, you got to get the caps, got to get the income. You have to get ahead. You don't want Kindle or Drake, for that matter, to be ahead of caps. Because it's going to be, once again, I mean, damage, right? You got Kindle, she's got Urban Blight doing 3 damage to things on cities. And 3 bars is not very difficult to get, right? So in the mid to late game, it's going to be very difficult to flip any sort of property. So you want to be able to get those properties as quickly as you can. And hold them if you can. So P-Dog doing a shift. So P-Dog goes down and does a shift and brings the majority of his units down here to guard the HQ and attack this area, the weak area right here. Now, we could do the same. We could bring all these guys over here, right? But the problem is I have an HQ right here. So if this area gets overrun, it's going to be difficult to guard the HQ. Just 100%. It's going to be very difficult. Now, Cryo Goose goes up and takes a shot on my recon, bringing it all the way down to 1 HP. Which hurts, you know, it definitely hurts. It's not the kind of attack that I'm feeling super confident about. But I believe that it was necessary, because I had to eliminate the infantry so that it wasn't able to interrupt this cap here. And in addition to that, it's a recon. You know, it's only like 4K. It's not a huge deal if I lose 1 recon. Although unit count is definitely very, very important. So Aki's Maze builds a artillery last turn. So that guy is going to be coming up here, going to be positioning himself somewhere, you know, to be pretty useful. Anti-air goes up and takes a shot on the infantry here on a mountain, doing some pretty big damage. Tank goes over here to guard this spot here. Now that's pretty good. That's okay. Right, my only concern is, like, there's a tank right here, right? So let's see. I believe that we do something to guard that guy. No, maybe we don't. Okay. Now, this isn't necessarily too bad, though. I mean, obviously, there's battlecopters here. And battlecopters are pretty threatening, right? Now, the thing is that we only have 1 attack that could possibly happen right now, which is a Drake tank versus Olaf anti-air. Now, I believe that's only going to result in maybe about 5 damage. So a 5 HP anti-air is still pretty effective, right? So we do that to eliminate a little bit of infantry. But I also managed to go up, take out an infantry, and then position myself on the mountain, taking another shot at an infantry right here, which I think is pretty good. You know, and anything that actually decides to attack into this area is going to have to contend with 3 tanks, the anti-air, and a copter, right? And they only have 1, 2, 3 tanks. Well, 2 tanks and a copter, right? So overall, our team has more firepower than their team, right? So going in and attacking into that situation is probably not a good idea. So I'm also positioning my battlecopter right here, just so it's a very good blocker, right? Because we have a pesky little copter right here, but it's just out of range. So you know that guy is safe. He's perfectly safe. He's feeling good. He's feeling confident. Nothing is gonna get that guy down for sure. Except for maybe this anti-air. But it's not in range yet. Now, P-Dog's setting up pretty well here, I believe. So this is a very strong position here. We got a full infantry line in the front here. No potential 2-shot KOs. And lots of reinforcement here. So these copters are going to be heck dangerous. Heck dangerous. And you also don't really want to be attacking the Kindle copter on a city. I believe that that's really only going to result in like maybe like 70% damage. You get counter attacked by like almost 40. Like, it's not a good time. The other thing that I didn't mention here is there's only 2 comm towers on this map, so we actually had to choose which of us are going to get the comm towers. Now, I decided to say, hey, Akizme, you know, you might as well take that comm tower. Now, the reason I said that was because he's playing as Jess, right? So I figured that when, inevitably, if he switches to Jess, it would be better to have at least base level firepower on your infantry. I thought that was more important than having like 110, 110 for my Olaf and my Adam, right? And it also makes it so Jess's tanks and other land units have 120% firepower. So I figured that would be a little bit better. Now, I believe that their team did the exact same thing. They were thinking about it the exact same way. So Kindle, 150% firepower on cities. In addition to that, Cole, when he uses his Super Co-power, would have a lot more firepower. So he's got that 20% possible... firepower bonus. Now, there's a lot of planes too, so you could have made the exact same argument for Jake. But they went P-Dog. Probably also because he's got the airport too, you know? Airports are pretty important. Strong air units. So, Untitled Goose builds some more tanks, anti-air, artillery over here. So this side over here is looking really, really dangerous. Now, we have a lot of presence up here too, but it's sort of like a double-edged sword, you know? You have a lot of presence in one area, but you don't have a lot of presence in another area. So you could do a really, really big attack in one spot, but then your other spot is really, really weak. And currently, we're actually still in the lead by 1k funds. So they have to capture these 2 properties, and we have to capture this property, and then it would be completely even. But we'll see what happens. You know, it's only day 9, 30-day limit for this. Alright, so Akizme is going up for this cap right here, which is fan-flippin-tastic. That's what we gotta do. It's what we gotta do to get ahead on this one. We do actually pull back a little bit here too. Mostly because, I mean, there's not really any sense in having a half army down here in order to fight a full army. Now, if you do something like that, which I do see in Advanced Wars sometimes, people will do like, you know, these sort of like half assaults, you know, I think it's dabbling, you know, as D just says, dabbling. You can't really dabble. If you're just going to dabble in an area and have a few units, there is nothing stopping this force from just coming in and taking out like 5-6 of your units and just getting a massive unit count lead on you. Now, if your opponent gets a massive unit count lead on you like that, it's basically just game over in a game where people are fairly even in skill level, right? So, preserve those units as much as you can. Alright, so P-Dog going in for a big old attack right here. We got some big attack energy. Copter moving in. Infantry moving in. Infantry moving in. Securing a cap. Anti-air moving up. Sitting on an HQ. And then we're interrupting a cap. Very good. So I think this is a pretty smart play. So what we're trying to do, we are trying to secure this cap. And secure this cap. Okay, so we'll see what Cryo Goose decides to do here. So blocking the cap. Fantastic teamwork right here from these guys. And then bringing a bunch of units back. Because they have the exact same idea, right? So there's no point of them just dabbling their army into this area when there's so much potential for destruction, you know? Position yourself safely. Alright, let's see what Akizme decides to do over here on day 10. Tank moves up, takes a big shot on that infantry, taking it all the way down to 0. Destruction. Nada. Gone. Anti-air moving up. Infantry's moving up. Another tank build. Now, sadly, there's not really too many attacks that they're possibly able to do here. But they do continue a cap, join cap, bring an artillery forward, and position themselves very, very strong up north. So this is looking very nice right here. That's a nice little death ball. Alright, then it's my turn, and I have to figure out some way to be useful. So, I decide to take out the infantry that was sitting here, bring this infantry, sit it right here. So this is good. I think this is fantastic. So this makes it so if they wanted to bust through this, they would have to bring a hefty chunk of their army forward in order to do that. Now I take a shot on the copter. Take a shot on the infantry. Take that guy down to 6. Bring forward a few more of my units, but don't really do anything else with the rest of my guys. I have to secure this area, 100%. But I also have to interrupt this cap. See, it's okay if they get 1 cap. 1 cap is fine. 2 caps? No, you don't want that. That's danger territory. So unfortunately, my copter was destroyed. I see it as a necessary risk though. We have to damage this copter. If we just left this copter free, they would be able to get too many big hits. So I decided to go and take that shot. And they do manage to push in and do quite a bit of damage to one of their tanks, or one of Aki's tanks. And then position their army also very strongly here. So at this point, kind of sweating a little bit over here in Team Cannon Fodder. Because it was a very nice attack. So they managed to KO that tank that got injured. And then they positioned themselves pretty strong up here too. Now they have quite a bit of tanks. Cryo is going heavy on the tanks up north, which I think is a good plan. You know, you gotta have a strong presence in the face of unfathomable danger. you gotta stay strong in the face of danger, you know? So it would be hard for this army right here to push into all these tanks. So this is good. I like this. And we got a lot of pressure down here. So the Untitled Goose team is definitely doing a lot of nice synergy here. So it is now day 11. Team Cannon Fodder taking over. And we got a big shot at a tank, taking it all the way down to 2. And it looks like we have a shift happening here, folks. We got a big shift from the blue side going all the way down here. Now we take a shot from the road against this guy, which is kind of odd. Probably should have shot from here. It's not really a big deal though, because honestly, they have enough presence here that no matter where you shot from, it would probably still fall. If we shot from here though, I believe... No, nothing would have helped. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Doesn't really matter where you take the shot from. Alright, so I see a shot on a tank that I decide to take here. Bring my copters back though, because the threat of these copters here is a little bit too much for me. I'm not feeling super confident about that. And just by doing this, I also leave one of my tanks vulnerable to an artillery shot. This guy is vulnerable to an artillery shot too. However, at this point, I'm trying to like theory craft some ways on how we can stop this, right? And I'm trying to just figure out, you know, little strategy points, little positions that we can do, little attacks we can do in order to not let this get overrun. And I figured that taking out that tank was a really good start, right? And whatever else attacks I did. I think that was pretty much the only attack I did here, so that's it. Taking out the tank is the most important thing. Because at this point, we are about to lose a city, which is very dangerous. I'm not super happy about losing that city. Now, it is the Cryo Goose's turn now. As we can see, P-Dog did a little bit of damage here. Not really too many attacks, but we did take out the infantry down here. We continued the cap here, so this is sitting at 4. So pretty dangerous. Now, it's Cryo Goose's turn. So it looks like Cryo Goose is going to be able to do a couple things, right? He's going to be able to bring this infantry up here, block this spot right here. He's going to be able to take a big shot on one of these 3 tanks, and then just continue to build up the defenses over here. Now he decides to take a shot at a Keys tank. Takes it all the way down to 2, which is a pretty big hit, right? Starts a cap on another city. Builds another tank and a recon. Alright, so yeah, big tank threats. Lots of tank threats, folks. Akizme, cannon fodder, day 12. We go in, we decide to take in a shot on this guy right here, which is fantastic. This is actually 100% what we need to do. Gotta take this guy out so that we can take this guy out. Now, this actually is the beginning of the cluster, as I like to call it. When you're playing team games like this, attack order is like the most important thing that you can possibly do. Synergy with your opponent is beyond important, right? Now, when you think about this, now Cryo Goose attacking this tank instead of like fully taking out this tank or possibly taking out this tank is even more important than you could think. Because what that does is it makes it so when Akizme attacks, he can't hit this copter because my guys are blocking the copter. So, pretty dangerous stuff. So he's limited in the amount of things that he's able to do. He is able to take a shot on the artillery, which is a pretty big shot. Manages to interrupt the cap down here. Takes a shot on this tank. And we managed to take out one of the backline infantry, start a cap on one of the middle properties, and then brings the units kind of forward here. So, this line is looking okay, but there's some potential for it breaking, right? We already know from a previous attack that a tank attacking a infantry on a road is going to result in 8 HP of damage, at least, right? And you have a 2-shot right here. So the question is it possible for P-Dog to break this line for Cryo Goose to come in and take an attack? And I think it is definitely possible, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll let the theory crafters go. But it is my turn first. As we can see, that recon of mine is living. He's living the dream. And we managed to do a nice little attack here. We managed to take out that copter. We moved our we moved our injured tank out of the way. We moved in with some tanks, attacked with the copters. And this is going to allow me to interrupt this cap, which is 100% needed. Gotta interrupt that cap. Sadly, I'm not able to defend the anti-air. That guy is definitely possibly going to be taking a hit here, which is unfortunate, but sacrifices sometimes need to be made, folks. Now, we can also see here that the power meters are getting rather full. P-Dog has almost an entire high society right now. Cryo Goose is getting pretty close to a tsunami, and both members of Cannon Fodder have a blizzard. So we have an Urban Blight. First co-power of the game. Big damage. Now, I also kind of anticipated the Urban Blight, which is why I actually attacked from the city first with my copter. Mostly because, like, you know, it was already going to get injured. So I would rather have a copter get injured and then have a fresh copter. That was my thought pattern behind that. Alright. But they do manage to bust through the line and get a big one-shot on the artillery, which was very unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed. But was it game-breaking? No, I don't think so. So, P-Dog. Great damage, buddy. Great damage. Lots and lots of stuff happening here. Currently, they are actually in the lead also. Now, because they managed to cap this property here, that actually makes it so I am currently the one behind in properties. Which is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate for me. Now, Cryo Goose moves in and does some big old attacks of his own. Now, sadly, both of Akizme's artillery actually got hit this turn, which is pretty devastating. And he does have one fresh one in the back here, though. So, you know, we're not doing too bad. But it is very unfortunate that that happened. Alrighty, so we are approaching Blizzard. Or not Blizzard, we're approaching Winter Fury. Now, if you haven't guessed it or not, our main strategy that we are hoping to do is a double Winter Fury. That is the game plan. So we pop a Winter Fury. Take everything down to 8 HP. Beautiful. Love it. So we made it snow, and things are looking pretty okay. We cut those unit values quite a bit down. Alright, so day 14 rolls around, it's my turn, and now I'm trying to think to myself, it's like, okay, is it possible for me to get a Winter Fury as well? I don't know, we'll see. So, I move in, and I take a couple engagements here, which is fantastic. Injuring some tanks, basically just trying to get as much battle damage to myself as possible. And I do see a bunch of attacks where it's possible, right? So, right now I'm sitting pretty close. I'm only like 4k away. So after a few more small engagements here, I managed to get the other Winter Fury. And we take everything down by 40%. Boom! Double Olaf is busted, folks. Absolutely busted. Alright, so at this point, they had a pretty good push on us, but they are basically just dead in the water. For at least a little while. Kindle is basically unable to do any attacks here. There's very, very little that she's able to do. So P-Dog is basically just kind of riding out the storm. And then it's Drake's turn. Pops a Typhoon after the medium tank is moved. Now, medium tank was just going to be going and sitting on a city anyways. But, you know, is what it is. Is what it is. Now, the other thing that I forgot to mention. So after our turn, we actually decided to swap COs. So I went to Adder, and Akizmate actually stayed as Olaf for this turn. So does that really matter, like, in the long run? Not particularly, but a little bit of a difference. Now, I know that Olaf, when he's faced with rain, it is the exact same as snow. So I just wanted to get the extra movement. That's mostly what my plan was. But we did manage to take them down quite a bit. And now they have to flee a little bit. So they did manage to get one super on us, but we got 2 supers on them. But we also got hit with an Urban Blight not that long ago. So it's basically like, you know, it kind of cancels it out like a little bit here. But Akizmate does manage to go up and do a little bit of cleanup duty. Brings a lot of the tanks up north. So we're sitting pretty over here right now. And myself, I go up, take a couple shots, do a few engagements. Now I go pretty far, go pretty deep here, right? Because there's not really much to counter this guy. I mean, this tank is going to be 8 HP next turn, so it will be able to attack here. But I need to start destroying some infantry. Because my main plan is I really want to grab this. But in addition, I also want to get my super co-power. So I managed to get the Sidewinder. Not a side slip, a Sidewinder. Now the main reason why I want to get the Sidewinder is because I want this. I want this copter. I want him gone. So I literally pop it just so I can get that attack. And also like get like a little bit more movement, right? So beautiful. We managed to do that. And now it's P-Dog's turn. Now P-Dog does have another Urban Blight. But is he going to pop it? I don't know. You know what? One of the main purposes of the Urban Blight is to deny captures, right? And in a battle where it's time sensitive, you do want to kind of hold on to that Urban Blight until you can get some massive value out of it. And one of the biggest points of value in a capture game like this is stopping caps. 100%. Alright. Fails a little bit of a luck roll here, so that was kind of unfortunate. But aside from that, brings a few guys back, takes a shot on this guy, you know, fair. And a classy medium tank rolls in and just starts doing what medium tanks do. Destroying things. Being classy, folks. Now, is a medium tank a good buy? I don't know. You know? It's obviously classy. It's the gentleman's unit. But right now, not sure. But it is big and it is intimidating. So we get a turbocharge. So this is going to be a pretty good turbocharge. We have a lot of units here. So we might be able to get a lot of potential attacks. So let's see. Where do we go with this? Ooh, nice. Getting some good, solid damage here. Now we managed to push this line pretty far back, and we got an infantry, you know, approaching these properties again. So this is pretty good. Might be able to get a cap. Return to old Cannon Fodder's team here pretty soon. But it's only day 15, right? And now it's my turn. So we'll see what I manage to do here. So I don't even bother trying to go for the cap because it's not going to be possible with these guys around. But in hindsight, maybe I should go for the cap, you know? Alright, so I use quite a few of my tanks and I do a lot of damage up here. So, I mean, it's not too bad, but I definitely need to get these guys back and get some healing and get some fuel. And I need some more infantry on the field, because most of my infantry are pretty injured, and I need a cap. 100% need a cap. It has to happen, and it has to happen soon. Alright, P-Dog manages to roll up, take down 2 dudes, and then pops the Urban Blight. So, pretty painful stuff, folks. Pretty painful stuff. I get hit with a copter, and my anti-air gets hit. One of my tanks gets hit, too. You know, what can you do? Now Kindle gets a massive firepower bonus on those cities. So it's going to be pretty difficult to dislodge her from a lot of this stuff. And we also have a medium tank here that's just going to be able to just do some damage. We're going to be able to do some damage. And right now, currently, it's a Jake medium tank. Ooh, and it does go up and do a big old hit here. So it manages to take out one of the tanks here. And Jake moves up north and takes out a few more tanks up here and then positions himself here pretty well. The other thing that's pretty dangerous right now is we got air units coming up north. We got this guy and this guy. So it's pretty tough. Pretty tough. So Akias moves back, gets some heals. Positions himself on a shitty. Positions himself on a shitty. Shitty. That's how, but it's where you go. It's where you go when you don't know where to go. You get on those cities. Alright, good. Good stuff. Now, trying to do another cap here in the center. It's a little bit risky, but it does force them to attack. You know, it forces them to attack the city. So, it's taking pressure away from other units. So, let's see what old Mr. Cannon does. Alrighty. So, Mr. Cannon, the man of no fear, going up and taking shots on a tank. Beautiful. I actually joined 2 of my guys together and I pop a blizzard. Now, blizzard. Why do we pop blizzard? Because I don't want to get hit by this. I don't want to get hit by this. I want to slow down this guy, and I don't want to get hit by anything else. That's pretty much the entire reason for the blizzard. Now at this point, I am playing damage control. Because I don't want them to be able to push up and do too much damage to us. I want to be able to just hold them back for a little while. That's the plan. Mainly because we got this city. Like, I want Akias to be able to get down here and get this city without having to deal with a whole lot of stuff going and attack them. That's the plan. Okay, so not really too much happened this turn. P-Dog just did a little bit of a push down here. Slowly moving his units, right? Moves the copter up a little bit. Cryo Goose, block rock. So he pops a super in the snow. Interesting. Alright, let's see what happens with the super here. So we do a pretty big hit on this tank. Does about 70% damage, which is nice. We do manage to take out an anti-air. Medium tank one-shots this cap right here. So, pretty good. I think that was probably the main reason for the block rock. We wanted to just get that cap interrupt. That was the main thing. Because I don't think anything else was really in position to reach it. So the block rock was entirely for this medium tank to attack here. That was it. Which I think is a pretty good plan. You know, it's not like the most powerful block rock out there, but it secured their team the advantage. So they're still ahead in properties now. And it's day 17, right? So, I mean, time's a ticking. Time's a ticking. Every single day, every single micro play that you do matters. 100%. And, like, plays like that, not terrible. You know, not terrible. Alright. So, I use one of my 4 HP tanks to take this guy down. And then I pop a side slip. Why do I pop side slip? Well, a couple reasons. We're going to find out every single one of them. First one was so I can attack that. And then I use 3 copters and a tank to attack that medium tank, taking the classy boy all the way down to 2. Now, was this a good idea? I don't know. Not really 100% sure. But what I do know is that I don't want that classy boy to be roaming around causing ruckus like one-shotting caps. That's what I don't want. Right? So I figured that, okay, so I'm going to be throwing a lot of stuff at this guy. I know that I'm going to be getting hit with a counter, but I felt like the negatives were outweighed by the positives in this attack. So if we can eliminate this medium tank, or at least get it to like get out of my face, I feel like it was worth it. And the one thing too, so while one of the things that I was saying earlier is attack order, right? So because I attacked in a way here, I am surrounded by green units. There's only one spot that I can be attacked from where one of my copters will fall. Well, I mean, technically there's 2 spots. Maybe. Because this guy might be able to... Like, we might be able to get a KO here, but there's a lot of presence here, right? But either way, attack order. There's not many attacks that they're able to do. So I know that at least 2 of my copters are safe, and one of my tanks is only going to get hit by, like, 2 things. Right? This artillery, and this tank. That's it. So, I was out, like, you know, I was figuring it out, you know? There's not too much damage that I would take, and I'd be able to do a lot of damage to that medium tank. Alright, so I forgot about that, but yes, still, not too much damage. Everything was fine. Alright, now Aki's turn. What did we manage to do? At this point, I believe that I'm actually starting to talk to him a little bit. Or talk to them a little bit. And I'm like, okay, we have to figure out a way how we can get this city. You know, because it's going to be tough for me to get this city up here. Right? But if you can grab this city, that would be great. You have a lot of presence down here. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be the cannon fodder. I'm going to be the fodder and you be the cannon. It's going to be good. And we're trying to figure out how we can do it, right? So we'll see if we actually manage to pull it off or not. But move planners were used. And yes, it was good. It was a good time. Alright, so I go up for this cap here. And I pull the rest of these guys back. I actually joined one of my tanks together to get a full HP tank. Bring the rest of my guys back to sit on the front line. Now these guys are pretty injured, so if these guys did go up and attack, most likely going to result in KOs, which will actually leave it so Keys' army here can move in. So you see that I'm sitting at 22 units. Keys sitting at 31 units. Cryogoose is sitting at 26. And P-Dog's 17. So we have the unit advantage right now. But they still have the... they're still winning on the board. So we do gotta definitely figure out how we are going to be getting in here. Urban Blight pops up here out of nowhere. Does quite a bit of damage to some dudes here. So it was pretty unfortunate. Pretty unfortunate. Copton moves in to take out an infantry. Now I think the plan here was they wanted the copter hit here so that this tank could move in, right? Because infantry moves here, tank moves here, gets a hit on this. Copter is uncontested. Uncontested. Dangerous stuff. Now let's see if that is what happens. Yup. Painful stuff. Painful stuff indeed. But I'm in a very interesting position right now because this guy is sitting at 7. So I can cap and get it to 3. And then if I can find some way to not let that guy perish, it's possible. We can see what's possible here. So by them attacking though, it does leave Akias an opportunity to move in here and attack. So let's see what they manage to do here, because I think it's quite a bit. Looks like we get quite a few attacks down south, and we actually move an artillery in. Things are looking pretty okay up there. Or down there, I should say. Now, we're threatening a cap on the city right here. I don't believe that we have any Urban Blight, because P-Dog just switched to coal and used the power. Now, we do have interrupt potential here. So, let's see if old Mr. C decides to do something here. So, we take some shots here. Very, very nice. Take a shot on the infantry. This copter is pretty blocked in, so that's not too bad. And then I think I'm trying to think to myself what to do next, you know? What to do next. I attack this tank. And I sack into the anti-air for a blizzard! Haha, I bet you didn't see that coming. You did not see the blizzard coming, folks. You never see the blizzard coming. It's just there. There is no storm watch in this game. Blizzards pop up out of nowhere when you least expect it. Now I do this once again to just avoid massive damage. I want Akias May to be able to just build up his army. I want him to get big and strong and mighty. That's the plan. Big, strong, and mighty. Well, I just be cannon fodder. But we have a Trial of Woe. Trail of Woe. Apologies. The Trail of Woe pops in here. And they attack these two units down here. So, interesting stuff. Trail of Woe. P-Dog goes up and interrupts the cap on the city, which is a pretty smart move. Now, he would have the most firepower to interrupt that cap, so it does make sense. Now it's Cryo Goose's turn. What does Cryo Goose decide to do? Cryo Goose attacks this cap down here. That was also attacked down here. So, pretty smart. You know, you don't want that that city to be capped. But we have both of the corners right now under threat. And he goes in and attacks this guy right here. And he only takes it down to 3. Only takes it down to 3. So I'm going to be able to get that cap. 100%. The only way that he would be able to stop that cap from happening is if he pops a tsunami at this moment. Now, if he did pop, or if he does pop a tsunami, he will be able to stop that cap. But that also stops him from being able to summon the rain. And rain is pretty effective. But he doesn't manage to stop it. So old Mr. C possibly going to be able to get that cap. Now, I believe this was a move planned. Move right here. So we move in, take a bunch of shots, do some damage. Things are looking okay. I bring a copter forward, taking some shots here, taking shots at infantry. Because at this point, you don't want the infantry to be getting forward. And I'm considering right now going and attacking this guy. But I'm kind of trying to count the amount of units he has, right? So if we actually take a look here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 6 units, right? So they could possibly move in and do like 6 attacks. But we'd be able to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At least 7 attacks that would probably be fresh attacks. Maybe even 8, 9, because I have these 2 tanks, right? So if they go and attack us, they only get 6 attacks, and we get 9 attacks to counter. So I figured that is pretty good. But if I took one of my tanks and actually moved in and attacked this guy right here, that would just give them like another attack. So I wasn't feeling like super good about it. I figured like, okay, the artillery can only hit an infantry right now. The infantry, if this falls, it would result in maybe the death of a tank here and maybe the stop of a cap. But I don't think it's going to go too much farther than that, right? Now, it is potential that it could go further. But I was feeling confident. I was like, okay, it's probably not. But this this little guy actually does zoom his way in here and does an attack on my copter, which I was not very happy about. Not very happy about. So, that did happen. But P-Dog doesn't actually move in and do any attacks here. He only interrupts 1 cap on a city that's being capped right now. This guy is still sitting at 7, so that's 2 days from being capped, which is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So we get the Typhoon. Ouch. Big ol' Typhoon damage, folks. Typhoonery. That's what's happening right here. Yeah, so he managed to go in and do some pretty devastating attacks, and I'm not feeling super hot about that. And also that infantry that I used to cap that property, it's not looking too hot over there in the corner. Unfortunately, we lost our cap over here in the corner as well. And we have a big presence right here. We have a medium presence right here and a pretty threatening presence right here compared to what we have in order to actually fight that with. So, ow. Ouch. So now we're trying to think about, okay, can we get like a super? If we got a super, that would be pretty cool right about now. Unfortunately, I believe that there is just enough little attacks here that we can get a Winter Fury. So we managed to cancel out the rain. Fantastic. Nobody wants rain. People want snow. You know, in Advance Wars. Olaf wants snow at least. He's dressed for it, so it makes sense. Start a cap in the corner, moving the tanks forward. So these guys are sitting here protecting the artillery from this tank right here. Very, very smart. Very nice position to be in. Stopping the movement of the copter down here. Stopping these tanks from pushing forward. Beautiful stuff. Unfortunately, I am also Olaf, so I'm not going to be affected by that snow. This cap is very, very far from actually happening, so we decided to actually attack the infantry instead. Aside from that, just general moving forward. So I move a cup forward, take a shot. I think I was kind of hoping that this was going to KO. I think it might have been a luck roll. But it didn't KO, so you know, it's like whatever, it's fine. It's not a big deal, you know. I'm not gonna cry over it. I'm not gonna go to the crying corner. You know, it's gonna be fine. But my unit count is suffering now, because I have thrown a lot of stuff into this corner just to be able to cap this property in order to secure us, like, you know, even income. Or not even income, but put us ahead, you know? So, ow. I'm not doing too well. Now, fortunately, P-Dog is also actually kind of low on units as well. Cryo Goose is he's pretty moderate on the units right now. He's got 25 units, but he doesn't have a lot of unit value. You know, we're sitting at 49,000. That is going to be popping up next turn, obviously. But generally, Aki's May here. He's the guy. He's the fella that's doing the best at the moment. You know, he's feeling good. He's feeling pretty good about himself. So it's all good. It's nice. All right. So beat down from Cryo Goose. Powerful stuff. We got a beat down. Now, for those of you that don't know, beatdown, it's kind of like a moderate power. You know, it's not anything too significant, but it does have value. You know, it'll increase the firepower of your units on planes, but what it'll also do is it'll increase your artillery range by 1. So it doesn't actually show it on the move planner here, but this guy has normal grit range right now. So he's actually able to hit everything in this line right here. So it's pretty good. It's not bad. Situationally good is what I would say. I feel like beatdown should probably have like a small movement bonus too, like at least like +1. Then he would be like pretty good, I would say. Wouldn't be too bad. Situational bonuses like +10 on planes or like +10 on roads though, generally it's not like anything significant. So that's why those characters like Cole and Jake tend to find themselves in tier 4. You know, that's just the reason. Jess as well, you know, she's got good tank units and stuff, but just not when it comes to like the other guys, you know, it's just not anything significant. Okay, but we do have a super co-power right now from Jess. So we're gonna see what that manages to do here. Beautiful. So we get some nice KOs here. KO an infantry. And we move on to the HQ and take a big shot on artillery. We don't want those artillery around anymore. We got to get them out of here. And we managed to take out a copter, which is huge. Big damage, folks. Big damage. Alright, rest of the movements are pretty much just positioning here. We managed to do a devastating strike down here. Just absolutely devastating. Now, sadly, the only thing that is unfortunate about this is we have a 3 HP dude right here, and we have an easy way to actually attack and interrupt the cap here. So this cap was sitting at 4 HP. Now, maybe if we actually just move down a little bit more in the south, you know, we took a lot of engagements here, but if we had like 2 of the units just like sitting right here, that would have been like great, because we probably would have got that cap at that point. But sadly, that's okay. Not a huge deal. We still are ahead right now in the properties. Now, getting an extra cap would just be like fantastic, but is it absolutely needed? Not necessarily. What we really have to do is we just have to hold, and I have to hold this property, which is very difficult to do. So I'm gonna see. We're gonna try our best over here. But they do manage to stop the cap, and they move ahead and do quite a few attacks on poor Akias here. And now the 6 HP medium tank is going to be able to roll in here. Oh, takes a big shot at the anti-air, taking it all the way down to 5, but manages to get a counter attack. So, very nice. Congratulations, anti-air. You are definitely an MVP. Alright, so Cryo Goose goes in to try to cap this property here. Very dangerous stuff, because if they do manage to get that property, we are going to be in a very critical situation, because the keys just got taken down to 26 units. So the lead that he did have there, it's not as much of a lead now as it used to be. And I'm sitting at 16 units, and Pito's sitting at 17 units. So we're basically even. We're like the side characters right now. Untitled Goose and Akias are like the main characters right now. So we're playing sidekicks right now. So we're seeing what's gonna happen. I will tell you though that I'm pretty sure that this was a move plan move on my part here. I was trying to figure out some stuff here. No, this wasn't it. Okay, next turn I definitely do a move planner. Oh no, this is my move plan turn. Okay, this is a beautiful turn. You guys gotta watch this. I thought about this for like so long, but I did manage to get like a nice little attack. So I managed to do that. I go in with the anti-air because all these tank rolls were luck rolls, you know, and I was just like, no, there's no room for luck right now. I gotta stop this cap. So I stopped the cap, feeling super good about myself. Super good about myself with that one. It was pretty good. I was like, yeah, this is nice. This is nice right now. This is good. In my move planner too, I was lowballing it. I was expecting this infantry to actually live, but it didn't, because I'm a G. We got a Trail of Woe though, and oh boy, let's see what happens with this Trail of Woe. Takes out a copter, or takes out a tank and a copter. Now I use this tank and copter over here to injure, or like destroy this tank, or injure this tank, right? Because I was figuring that this tank was going to be a big hassle to me later on, so I had to definitely injure it. Lost 2 units in the process, which is, once again, not the best thing. You don't really want to lose units, but if it's for the greater good, then throw those units out, man. You know, if it's for the greater good, just toss them aside. Alright. Untitled Goose doing a fantastic job at cleaning up over here. Stopping a cap, doing a lot of damage here. Injuring quite a few tanks up here. You know, holding the north pretty good. And he's basically just beginning the assault. He's beginning being able to get that property back. So, dangerous stuff, folks. And at this point, I'm talking to Akias. I'm like, okay, we gotta, like, get this southern property. We gotta get this southern property, because if we don't get this southern property, there's a very high chance that this property up north here is going to fall. Like, I don't think that I can hold it for the entire game. There's like 6 days left right now. I don't know if I can do it. Like, Untitled Goose is just coming in like a tidal wave, just washing you away. It's like just pounding you against buildings. You got urban blights, you got a tsunami happening. It's like waves are just bashing you against these cities, and then you get pulled into an alleyway, and then you just start ricocheting off of buildings. It's like, it's not a good time. Not a good time. Very dangerous stuff. Alright, so Mr. Cannon, myself, boom, taking a shot at the infantry, because I'm like, nah, you ain't surviving. You gotta go, man. Aside from that, don't really do too much else. Attack the artillery, because the artillery is making me angry. Bringing the tanks forward. At this point, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be able to cap anything else. I'm going full tank. This full tank mode. If I can't, like, just destroy everything, then there's no hope. But the nice thing right now is that medium tank that I attacked, it has been very ineffective for the most part. It did manage to do, like, quite a few attacks, but not even close to as much damage as it probably would have did if it was left unchecked. So, but ouch. 7 HP medium tank moving in, doing some damage here. I did actually leave the tank here to try to lure in the medium tank, but I kind of overlooked the fact that this recon was going to be able to attack this guy. So that was unfortunate. That was an oversight. I didn't expect that. Did not expect it at all, folks. So yeah. Not a professional, but just a guy trying to do his best out here. But I did manage to see this attack here, so I kind of like let the keys know. I was like, you know, you could have actually like attacked that medium tank with an artillery and like 2 tanks and take it down to like 2 HP right now. And then, yeah, he sets up pretty nice down here, so it's pretty good. Feeling pretty confident about that. Moves in, takes an attack here, and then it is my turn. my turn to move in and pop another blizzard. Oh! See, folks, blizzards. It's all you need. All you need in life is blizzard. The original plan was, hey, you know what? Let's, like, use double Winter Fury, like, all the time. And then as soon as these guys started pulling ahead, I was like, oh, man, you know what? I'm gonna, like, have to pop some blizzards. This is, like, they're too good, man. They are too good right now. They're just getting in here. Boom. Now, P-Dog. Not giving up. Not giving up, indeed. Doing some pretty big hits up here. And then it's Cryo's turn. Also not giving up. He's almost got a Typhoon. He's got the Typhoon. Pops the Typhoon. Ouch. 2 global damage everywhere. So now officially, they've done more global damage than us. So, ouch. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Global damage is very strong. Very strong, boys. Very strong, boys indeed. All right, so I didn't expect this to go to day 26, but it's day 26, folks, and we're still here. We're still battling. We pop a blizzard to counter the rain. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. So, we do a cap, move forward, and then I'm like, Akias, you gotta plant that tank right in front. You plant that tank right in front there, I swear to God. You do that, and you're not gonna be able to block. They're not gonna be able to get through if you just do that. You just gotta do it, you gotta do it. Plop them right there. Plop them there. It's gonna be good, I swear. It's gonna be beautiful. Alright, aside from that, bringing the infantry forward up north. That's about it. Taking some shots over here. Injuring the infantry. Gotta do it. 100% gotta do it. The Mr. C moves in. Destroys the cap and infantry on this city. Moves his tanks forward. And that's about it. Let me get urban blighted. Ouch. Takes this guy all the way down to 5. This cap is sitting at 2. But anything even touching this right now, and it's all over. But fortunately, it's not going to be able to do it. Not going to be able to do it. It's beautiful. It's absolutely wonderful. Now, for those of you that might be thinking, it's like, oh, wait, you know what? He might have been able to attack down here, and then this guy would be able to get down here. That's incorrect, unfortunately. 100% incorrect. This guy is actually only able to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He'd only be able to get right here, so he wouldn't be able to move any further than that. Unfortunately. Now, if Cryo had actually held on to his super, might have been able to move it, but didn't, so. P-Dog builds a medium tank. Classiest boy on the field. Aside from that other medium tank, but very classy indeed. Alright, we got a beatdown. Oh, the super was the Typhoon, my bad. But yeah, so we got a beatdown, so maybe, actually, how close are we? Ooh, that's like pretty close. Nah, there's no way. I was thinking like, oh, you know what? He might. Like, you could maybe like, can you sack your way to get there? No, he can't. He doesn't have enough units. Alrighty, so he moves in, does a few attacks, but is unable to stop the cap. Builds an APC. Gotta get this infantry as far forward as possibly can. Only 3 days left, but we do manage to secure a cap. We got the cap. And at this point, we're just like, oh my god, just blast every single infantry on the field. We just gotta blast them all. That's the plan. Blast the infantry. So it's literally what we do here. We just attack them infantry. But I'm also thinking like, okay, if I like misplay here, then it's gonna be bad. So I actually bring these guys back, bring these guys forward. Planning out like one final push with like the power. That's the idea here. But we have enough presence around these cities that I don't think they're going to be able to cap it. So it's really going to all come down to whether or not they can flip this property here and put themselves back ahead. Or not back ahead, but no, they'd have to flip 2 properties. Yeah, that's what it was. So they have to flip 2 properties right now, which I do not think is possible. So they push ahead. We do a turbo charge. We block a city. And it's day 29. I do a side slip. Injure all the infantry in the front line. Injure that infantry that was capping up here. Beautiful stuff. I guess maybe we should watch that one again, actually. You know, that was not too bad. So, pop the side slip. Boom, bloom, and then bloom. Managed to get that guy. And then day 29, they just start busting heads. They just start busting heads, builds another medium tank, drops a rocket on the field. But every single casualty that we get right now is like, it's fine. It's like, it's all fine right now. And Akia's Maze actually deletes like all of his units. It deletes all of his units and builds a missile. And then I finish off my last turn here. And then that's pretty much it. Builds a missile. And it says that the game ended in a draw. But it didn't. It actually did not end in a draw. We actually managed to win. Just by one property though. So they have 14-14, we have 15-16. Well, actually, I guess we won by a few properties, but yeah, we did manage to win that one. It was a flippin' tense battle, though, folks. Flippin' tense battle indeed. Lasted a long time, possibly too long, but it was over. That was the very first round of the official Classy Boy Tag Team Tag Tournament. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Team Cannon Fodder managed to get ourselves a point. And next one, we are going to be featuring 2 brand new teams on the same map. So look forward to that in the future, folks. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye for now.